Hello everybody, welcome to Hope Orchard, the early years. This video is a slideshow because I don't have videos of the animals this early in our farm life, but it is the beginning and shows how many changes we made, so here we go. Here are the first chicks I got. We signed the paperwork to get the house and I said we can get them 3 days early, so before we moved in, I put them in a box in my garage and started my farm life. So the new place had two outbuildings. We decided the one full of stuff the hoarders had filled it with was going to be our goat barn, and the little brick building on the right would be the chicken coop, and I'll show you why. First of all, they had an outbuilding that or a shed that fell down. It was full of stuff, and this is where we wanted our goat pasture and area to be. And again, that was to be our chicken coop. So just so you remember, for reference, here's the same picture. And ta-da! Everything cleared out, which took a very long time. Here's another look of the side, and we had to replace some boards to keep it from having giant holes in the chicken coop, and we started building the run on the back. Here's the one little hen I got, the only baby girl. So this was the inside of the chicken coop when we had a look at it. There was a big shed built on the back. You can kind of see through the window, and just full of junk and dirt and all kinds of stuff, but I can envision a better future for it. So here along the side, I saw this old door, and it had been pretty, and then it had been covered with chicken wire, and I thought, that's just like the ones people use for chicken coops. And I looked, and it was, or had been, attached to a post next to the door. So I thought, and look at the window, you can see the cheesecloth covering. And I thought, well, that's suspicious because it does indicate the animals might have been kept here. And then back that led into that shed was this door, and I said this was definitely a chicken coop, which made me so excited because I wouldn't have to build one. So in the midst of all of this, my chickens have moved into a box in my new garage, and they are growing. And here's one of my little roosters and my fancy new tractor in the back. And here you get a later pic of them getting even bigger, and we need to hurry and get that coop ready because they can't live in a box forever. And you can tell he's a rooster because he's got a red comb there, and in the second one you can see it's bigger. He's bright red. So here we go inside. I noticed a hole in the floor. You can see it there, and it's a cement floor, and it was a door width from the old door I showed you in the last slide. So my wonderful husband put a post in there, and we built a partition. I also did some extensive painting, not just for pretty, but to increase the amount of light that came in, so there would be more laying. The window there had a bullet hole in it. You can kind of see that. So here's the other side, if you remember all the junk in that. If you look through the window, there is no longer a shed there. We took all of that down. It was very unstable, and we used the tractor and the bucket to dig out an area to build the new run. My little laying boxes and my ladder are fancy because while I was waiting for the paperwork to go through, I was kind of playing with that to distract myself. But you can see that we've made some good changes and things are on their way. And here's the view from the other end. So you can see how the partition works, and that's the post that was original that the door would go back up in. And I love this design. It is a great secondary barrier so the chickens can't run out the door when you're coming in. So here you see our little chicks who are getting bigger. We finished the kind of chick area underneath the laying boxes, which I had planned out for this purpose, and I figured when the chicks grew up it would be great storage. I had seen this idea online and it works great. So now they had a place to live that was better than their box where they could grow, and there's my son again. And here they are quite a bit bigger. Again, you can see how big that rooster's comb is, and then if you look at my little hen, look how white and tiny her comb is, and their coloration is quite different. And here they are even more grown up, but big enough to be outside their little box, and we let them do walkabouts for a while before they moved in permanently. So now that my chicks were big enough to go outside, we had to build somewhere for them to play. So we used the tractor and cleared away a lot of this hill to make space for our run, which you can see we started the frame in this picture. And then this is another view that kind of shows you the area. Back in there is the goat area on the other side, and then in the front you can see how full it was with plants and debris. And if you look, the one window, someone had thrown a jam jar through it, broken the window, and then put a board over half of it. So there was a lot to do. Here we go, putting on the curved top to make more room for standing in such a short place, and the netting on the sides. And finally, we've got a door frame, and we're almost there. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Leave them in the comments, and I'll go through it the next video. And if you could leave a like or subscribe, that would be awesome, because there's a lot more to talk about. Here are my little chickens in the coop, and I did a lot of extra fancy trim painting, not because that was the plan, but because I was in there doing regular white and I ran out, and I was about to go get some more, and a big rainstorm hit, and I didn't want to walk through that without a coat, so instead I grabbed my other paint and I just randomly painted things in green. Here's my little hen being pretty. She was a good little layer too. And here is the final rooster and my little girl that I kept. I have a good friend who took in my other two roosters, and she said that we did a great job with our first chicks, and they're the friendliest roosters she's ever had. So that's awesome. Bye-bye now, and more to come.